reason I'm doing this video is because I recently had a conversation with somebody from the Midwest who's heard a lot of good things about Naples, but has only driven through Naples once and is considering a move here. Like a lot of you, she has questions and concerns, wondering whether or not Naples is actually the place for her. Maybe you too have been to Naples, but it was just a quick weekend getaway. Or maybe you were just driving through. Or perhaps you have been here when the weather was picture perfect, which is usually during our winter months, January, February, March, even into April into May sometimes. Or maybe you've never been here and you've just heard lots of good things, and it's made you want to consider purchasing something here. Whatever the case may be, I'm sure you have questions and concerns about what it's actually like to live here. My Midwesterner, like most of you, wants to get out of the cold, but she was wondering if she could actually handle our heat. Frankly, that's a valid concern, because we're not just talking about heat, but we're talking about heat and humidity. Today I'm coming to you from Del Norwegian State Park at one of our beautiful beaches here in Naples. This is one of the main reasons why we're all here, the beach. And look how smooth that Gulf is behind me. It's beautiful tonight. But it is hot. And in my conversation with my Midwesterner, she kept saying to me, well, you must really love the heat, Alicia. What I will say is that, do I prefer warmth over cold? The answer is yes. But this unbearable heat that we've been having, especially this summer, has just been all out miserable. I've been here 23 years full time, and summers are hot, but this summer has been ungodly hot. And I know this isn't a Naples thing or even a Florida thing. I know that this is going around the country this past summer where we're just having record temperatures, but it's just been brutal. But even though I prefer being warm over being cold, doesn't mean that I enjoy walking outside my door to a wall of humidity. It's uncomfortable. You immediately start sweating. All my makeup melts off. My hair turns into a big frizz ball. It's not pretty. On the flip side, though, I understand the benefits of humidity. In fact, I met someone from Arizona just this week, and she's obviously familiar with the dry heat that they have. So she was just not happy with this humidity. But at the same time, she said, I know it's very beneficial for your skin, which is true. Look, there's no doubt that air conditioning has been a lifesaver. In fact, I don't really know how people lived in Florida before the invention of air conditioning. But today I look at it like this. The 5 or 6 months that we have to be inside for air conditioning because it's just brutally hot outdoors are kind of similar to the 5 or 6 months those in colder climates can't be outside and need to be indoors enjoying the heat. Okay, I had to relocate. It was getting a bit toasty out there on the beach, even for 5:30, 6 o'clock at night as the sun was setting. So if you're someone who wants to get out of the cold, like my Midwesterner really wants to do, but you're concerned that you won't be able to handle the heat and humidity here, especially during the summer months. If you're here during summer, or frankly any other time of the year when it's hot and humid, then stay indoors, enjoy the air conditioning. Hop in a pool somewhere, whether it's your own swimming pool at whatever home that you purchase or in the condo community that you've bought in, or we do have public pools around town at county facilities that you can use. Or go to the beach and hop into the Gulf. Granted, the Gulf does get quite warm during the height of summer, so just keep that in mind. What I will say is that waking up to sunshine every day is a game changer. It just improves your mood, it improves your motivation. It's really what I truly love about living in Naples, Florida. Another point of concern for my Midwesterner, and I'm guessing it's a concern for maybe a lot of you who have never been to Naples or have only done a quick trip to Naples, is whether or not the people of Naples are welcoming. For lack of a better word, I think she was wondering whether or not we were snobby. As she so eloquently explained it to me, is that she's the type of person who enjoys shopping at places like Nordstrom or Saks, but she also enjoys shopping at thrift stores. Was Naples going to be accepting of that? So look, Naples has a lot of wealthy residents, millionaires and billionaires. And I'm sure there's a contingent of those folks that get caught up in that. But for the most part, I can tell you, at least in my own experience, the people that I've met here, even those of means, are very down-to-earth people. Here in Naples, a lot of our wealthy residents come from very interesting backgrounds. Many have been CEOs or CFOs or entrepreneurs or inventors. I always like to find out how they made their money because their stories are just fascinating. What's interesting about Naples is that you'll find a huge cross-section of people at our everyday restaurants and at our everyday shops. People who have means are not afraid to shop at Walmart and dine at Mel's Diner. How do you think they keep their money? And you'll also find a huge cross-section at our fine boutiques, like down on Fifth Avenue or over at the Village on Venetian Bay or up at Mercado. But you'll also find a lot of those folks at our thrift stores and our consignment shops. And considering where a lot of our residents are buying their furnishings and their clothing to start out with, our thrift shops and consignment shops have some really nice name brands at discounted prices, which is beneficial for all of us. I think what you need to keep in mind here in Naples is that people don't flaunt their wealth necessarily. Yes, you're going to find the Rolls Royces and the Ferraris and the Maseratis driving around town, but we're very low key here. I call it kind of casual elegance, if you will. When my husband and I first moved here 23 years ago, he worked for one of the wealthiest families in the county. And we always said that we could be at a restaurant or at a shop and be right next to that family and not know about their level of wealth. It was not evident just by looking at them. That is something that I really enjoy about Naples. Can you find those people out there who like to flaunt their wealth? Absolutely. I think it just depends on the energy that you're putting out there and who you want to meet. And if you're down to earth, low key, no matter what your level of wealth is, then you're going to attract that type of person to you. Those were her two main concerns. My Midwesterner, those were her two main concerns about life in Naples. If she would actually fit in, and if she would be able to handle the heat and humidity, which is yet to be determined. I'm guessing that you have your own questions and concerns. I would love for you to share them with me so I can tackle that for you and determine whether or not Naples is going to work for you as well. If you're considering Naples as a full-time residence or even as a seasonal getaway, someplace maybe you'd like to retire to, or someplace you'd love to have the grandkids come visit you at, then reach out to me. I'd love to talk about your situation and figure out whether or not Naples is the place for you, and then get you here sooner rather than later.